And then the other thing is that you probably mentioned this already in other presentations before, but you just go into the web, just go on the internet and type Security Exchange Commission, and then type Canada, and then you see where Canada's located. It's not in Ottawa. It's not on Parliament Hill.
What was this thing called?
Security Exchange Commission.
Security Exchange
Commission, right? And then
SEC.
And then if you want to, type in the provinces of Canada, and you'll see. But it's all linked to that CA. But then when you see where CA is located, you see DC.
Exactly.
It's located on a street called, I think, Massachusetts. In Washington, DC. It's not located in Ottawa. Isn't Canada supposed to be, or the Canadian government supposed to be, Ottawa?
Right. So it comes back to the math. The math doesn't lie. Right.
DC, does DC stand for Democratic Company?
No, District of Columbia.
District of Columbia.
Columbia, Columbus.
Right. But it's just like, it's the same thing like Hudson's Bay. That was the fur company. It was raping Indian land. So they got the store now, and you know what I mean, they're downtown, and you know everything's cool now. You know what I mean? There's nobody to complain about it now, so
in fact,
we're good.
In fact, their corporation's been around longer than Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
For 400 some odd years.
I think one of the smoke screens that is used to make people think that there's a separation of the United States and Canada is like they have something like, they'll say this is the British North American Act, right? And people sort of think that that's the Canadian Constitution, but it's an act, right? And they deal with statutes and giving privileges, and people think, well, that's the Constitution and that's the law, you know. But it's not. That's more like a corporate entity where they get people to sign into. Right?
That's good timing, bringing us right back to the Constitution and the fact that this is the supreme law of the land, and that there's nothing in this land, North, South, Central America, and the adjoining islands, which includes the Caribbean and all that, that could supersede this. And that's not because I say so, because that's what the document upholds. So the document's not given what it's saying when we read it. The document is actually upholding that thing, right? Or this thing, right? So all debts contracted and engagements entered into before the adoption of this Constitution shall be as valid against the United States under this Constitution as under the Confederation. So all contracts and engagements entered into before the adoption of this Constitution. So the Articles of Confederation is before this. So this and that are attached without us having to attach them, right? These two documents are attached, so they should always be together. I don't care what somebody says about the Constitution has been suspended and habeas corpus is not available to the people and all that stuff. Garbage. Because Barack Obama just took an oath to uphold the Constitution when he got his presidency. And every president before him took an oath to uphold the Constitution when they take their presidency. So if the Constitution is not valid, then why are they taking an oath to it? If it's not valid, why would they take an oath on an invalid document?
In fact, they took two of them, according to what they say. They took two of them.
Right.
One outdoors and one indoors.
Right. So two oaths. Right? So the Articles of Confederation is before the Constitution. Right? And all debts and contracts and engagements entered into shall be valid. So this is valid. So So if they're saying that this is valid, then this verifies that whatever they're talking about, founded in 1867, isn't Canada. That's part of the United States of America, Republic. That's something different. We don't know what it is. We're not going to point fingers and speculate because we don't know. But we know that that's not the government, Canada, that they talk about in 1777. Because the 1867 Canada makes no mention of this. They don't even talk about this, that they're in here. And the only reason they won't talk about something is if they're trying to hide. Especially things detrimental to people's liberties and all that type of stuff. Right? This Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land. And the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary, notwithstanding. So this is saying that this is the supreme law of the land. And anything from any state that's called laws, that's contrary to what this document says, is notwithstanding, does not have any standing from a law perspective. It is going to fall over on its face flat, or fall on its back, or fall on one of its two sides. It's notwithstanding. The senators and representatives, and the judges in all these states are bound by this too. So the judges also have an oath to this Constitution. The ones who make the decisions, because this guy kicked a dog, he has to do 40 days, 50 days, 60 days. Those guys are bound to this. The senators and representatives before mentioned, and members of the several state legislatures, and all executive and judicial officers, both of the United States and of the several states, shall be bound by oath or affirmation to support this Constitution, but no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust under the United States. Now, why is no religious test required? Because all of them are Muslims. All of them are Muslims. And a Muslim or a Muslim is a living entity. Muslim has nothing to do with some religion and being part of some sect of some religion. And you have to wear a hijab, and you have to have the Quran, and you have to do salat. Muslim is a living entity. If you're a living entity, you're a Muslim or a Muslim. Right? Now, the eagle head. The eagle right here, above the head of the eagle is a Star of David, made up of stars. The Star of David is on the seal of the United States, called the reverse. Reverse means back. And the pyramid seal is the obverse. So the obverse is the pyramid seal, and the eagle seal is the reverse. When we look back into history of the United States of America presidents, none of them speak under the pyramid seal. All of them speak under or in front of or on the eagle seal. Because the eagle seal is representative of the United States corporation. And the pyramid seal is representative of the people who were the indigenous people of this land, which is why there's a pyramid on the seal to identify who the people are, because pyramids didn't start in Egypt. The first pyramids weren't built in Egypt. There's pyramids older than the pyramids in Egypt. Sudan, everywhere. Those pyramids were like some of the last pyramids on the planet, not even on the continent. There's pyramids outside of Egypt, bigger than the pyramids in Egypt. So, but we know for sure that the people who built the pyramids were not pale-skinned people. So when they talk about this is a Mason symbol, and this is Mason stuff, and that's the Masons, the next question is, what do Masons have to do with pyramids? There's no relation between Masons and pyramids, other than Masons were the Moors that used to build pyramids, because the masonry has to do with building. That's the only Masons that have anything to do with this pyramid seal. The star above the head is 2 triangles. So if we take this upside down triangle and then we flip it the other way, we have 2 triangles. And then that makes the Star of David. Right? And the Moors have something to do with the Star of David, because this headwear is represented by the Star of David. When you see the Star of David, it means the fez, symbolically. So this eagle is wearing a fez based on that 6-pointed star being above the head. The eagle's wearing a fez. These are the secrets of the societies that they say, this is a secret society and we're not going to tell the people what's in this secret society. Anytime you see a Star of David above somebody's head, that means they're wearing a fez.
The Shriners are the same thing with that.
Exactly. Because the Shriners rep the 6-point star too. And they rep this.
That's what I'm saying.
But theirs has writing on it. Ours doesn't have writing on it. Because we're the original. And we branded them.
Yeah.
And that's why they got mad and branded us. But we didn't brand them. Like we branded them on their headwear. And then they branded us with the labels of Negro, black, color. And then that's why we branded them. So it would be obvious that those guys are infiltrators. They're not the real people that's supposed to be wearing that headwear because they're branded. And we were higher than we even want to perceive how high we were. Because if we're able to be sitting in here now talking about the Moors, this is no different than the Moorish meeting in 1100 something. Or this is no different than the meeting that Hannibal had with his soldiers before they went into battle. Because history repeats itself. And everybody has a position to play. And you have a choice to be free or be a slave.